pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you have a roll call?
Done? Okay.
Call the names.
Janice Rain. It's roll call. John Bowman,
Here?
Wayne Lensmeyer,
Here.
Roger Boyning,
Here.
Bill Schlens,
Here.
Jeannie Lodemeyer,
Here.
Janice Rain.
Here.
All present accounted for.
Okay, next, to have approve the minutes, February 1st. We have a motion for their approval.
We're doing it now. That's it.
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry. To have a motion, to have a vote, how many in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
So moved. Next, to move the minutes of February 1st, do we have a motion for their approval?
There is two minutes. I didn't get them written into the agenda, so.
Do you want
First one is for February 1st.
I would move to approve the minutes of the park board from February 1st, 2023.
in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Motion to approve the minutes of April 12th.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Nothing to report in terms of grant development. Amphitheater?
Yeah, just, the season's going well. This is gonna be a busy month coming up here. We got a week off, and then we have, Casey Jefferson Starship and Grand Funk on the 12th. Blues Travelers 16th, Doobie Brothers the 18th, Lindsey Sterling the 22nd, and Gojira on the 27th. So we got 5 concerts in like 2.5 weeks. So, and then we take a break until the end of September for National Acts. And then to finish up the year, just so you put it on your calendars too, is Ledgetober will be held out there August 7th. It's the first Saturday of October. So we did it last year then. It's gonna be a standing first Saturday of October every year. So this will be the second year. Last year, they did a polka band, and Deer Camp was the entertainment. This year, they're bringing in, I can't think of his full name, but he used to be the lead singer of Hairball, Bob somebody, and then another band to warm up. Pretty much the same as last year, so. Last year, the weather was a little iffy, so hopefully this year we'll get some nicer weather. And hope that you all can come out, and anybody else. Other than that, seasons went well. It's gonna come to a screeching halt here pretty soon, so. But one thing that Meredith did this year is she did yoga in the park out there. She teamed up with some yoga instructor, and I think they had almost 50 people out there at any given time doing yoga, and I assume it was all ladies, I believe it was. They just loved it. So I know she was talking about maybe possibly resurrecting that in September for a few weeks, but I'm not sure if she's got that pulled off yet. But she's starting to ramp up to do a little bit more for sponsorships. She'll work hard on that over the winter time, and trying to get more local events and doing things like yoga in the park and things like that, so, a good year.
Thank you. Landscape coordinator, what would you like to report tonight?
Well, I have all sorts of fun stuff to report tonight. So, please go ahead. Oh, I will talk a little closer. The ever-changing walking trail seemed to have a few hiccups this year with water, but that appears to be resolved right now. We may have lost a garden to the drought because it was just not getting water. Keeping our fingers crossed, we'll see what happens for next spring. That might be a do-over on the list. The rest seem to be okay. But that one took a hit, and that would be garden number 2. It's closest to 3rd Street. Has a very unique tree in it. Hate to lose that. So we've been kind of watching that and giving it a little extra love. We'll see what happens there. In 2021, the city did a contest garden, and I'm sorry, I don't remember how many people had submitted plans for a new garden. I want to say there was about 8 or 9. And there's a handful of us that sat down and we looked at all of the garden plans, and we didn't know who had planned anything. And one was chosen, and it turned out to be Jude Kahn, who at the time was 8 years old and is now 10. And he visited us last weekend. He's originally from California. You got it? And he and his family were at the garden. They were very surprised to see the sign was there. Staff was able to get a beautiful sign made up, put in the garden. There's a couple of hiccups with that garden with what he had chosen to put in there on his design. Some things may not be exactly zone 4 friendly, so we're replacing those with other things that are close. So Jude and his family spent an hour and a half with me down there on Saturday and just visited about the gardens and where it all came from. Again, this garden didn't initially have some funding, so we reached out to the Way Park Family Fun Fest, who funded this garden for us, which was very appreciative. So it was an extra. And again, thank you to staff for getting the sign there. They were very surprised with the quality of the sign, and they just loved it. So, and it matches what he's wearing. He's a happy young man, very happy. So, next, we've had kind of a strange growing year, and I've noticed that with many things that would grow just phenomenally have really been stunted this year, and other things that kind of are hit and miss that we're just taking a chance on are doing beautifully. What I can say for sure is stunning. I've yet to see one of our planters that is not doing well. The planters are doing amazing. As you probably noticed when you walked in, it's hard to miss those. And even at the ledge, we planted out the ledge, and the last time I was there, they all looked really, really good. I was pleased with that. Again, there's just some strange things that are not growing, some things that are growing, and we're thinking, what is that and where did that come from? So yeah, it's been a really odd year for growing season. The other thing that we noticed this year that we have in our gardens, which you all probably have in your gardens and pretty much anybody in Stearns County, is a new bug. It's called the Japanese beetle. And they're incredibly invasive. They will take your plants down in no time flat. Currently in my personal yard, they're working very hard on our birch trees. And they will strip any leaf down to the vine, or to the veining. And there's not much you can do to get rid of them except hand pick them off. So we're just gonna have to deal with them. They're here. They're here to stay. They've been in the cities for years and, southern Minnesota for years, so they finally found their way into the St. Cloud Way Park area. Now, on August 9th, we have the Senior Law Enforcement Cookout, and last year, the volunteers had a table there. It didn't bring in any new volunteers, but it certainly brought the word out. So we'll do that again this year. Maybe we can get 1 or 2 volunteers. That's always my hope. So the plan is to be there on the 9th, which is Wednesday, and set up a table and chalk up the gardens. So we will do a little AMP cleanup before your big 5 concert month. You guys are also busy out at the amphitheater, and I know we got a handful of folks that just love going out there just to do a little deadheading and clean things up and cut things back. So hopefully this weekend we can get out there and just do a little cleanup for you. And other than that, if you ever feel down and you need a little pick-me-up, just go to one of the gardens and pretend you're working. You will get more thank yous than you've ever imagined. And if you'd like to work, I'll get you gloves. Little spade. There's always weeds. I am amazed at the kindness in the parks and on the trails, and how appreciative people are. Even, whenever I could be out there, taking pictures, and people stop me. And it's not me, it's the volunteers. I just take the pictures, they do the work, they do the heavy lifting. I might order some plants, but if it wasn't for this group of about 27 volunteers, it would be a desert. So they've done an amazing job, and it is super fun to go out there and just hear the thank yous and the accolades and the appreciation. So just in case you ever need a pickup, that's the place to go. I'll bring you out myself.
Do you have a volunteer appreciation
We
scheduled yet?
We don't have it scheduled yet. It usually is in September or October. Last year, I was told that it was September, but I was enjoying working with them so much, so I pushed it off till October. So, and we're still cleaning up gardens in September. It's kind of nice to,
Be done.
yeah, be done, and just put it all to bed and have a little appreciation, so.
So if you would let me know, and I could let the rest of the park board know, so
Yes.
that you guys could at least, you can come down there too, get a piece of pizza or whatever we do, and thank them all too in person, so. Very
I-
appreciative.
We'll absolutely let you know when it is.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Okay. Moving on to a park update. Bill?
Yeah, I just got a couple things here. Weather drought has pretty much stopped any mowing that we've done at all for any park maintenance. So we've been busy trimming trees up and getting, kind of shaping up the parks a little bit, doing some painting. I know I instructed the staff to paint inside the 2 buildings down here at Community Park, the Octagon building and the square one. We got them done this spring, we got the new roofs and all that and painted on the outside, but I wanted it cleaned up on the inside, so I haven't even had a chance. I've been out of touch for about a month and a half here. So, we've been doing that. Trying to think what else has gone on. Oh, probably the big one was the Bourne Learning Trail in Lions Park. They had their grand opening. I don't know, did anybody go to it? Okay, I was gone and missed it, so, I heard it was a big success and it turned out nice, so. Other than that, it would be a good time to talk about, I gave you a piece of paper, it's a bigger sheet, for you. It's the time of the year where we're working on our budget for next year. This is an accounting of the community park building and the rates. So what I'm gonna need from the park board tonight is a motion to either keep the rates the same, or if you wanna talk about it, maybe increase them. And then I need to get that in, and that wouldn't go into effect until the 25, because we book out a year ahead. So if we raise the rates, they're not gonna go into effect until 2025. I don't really know. We've never broke even on it, I know that, it's subsidized. So if you look back, and the numbers were really well, if you go back to 2010 on the very top sheet, you'll see that And I'm just gonna look at residents. We had 93 people renting at a $35 rate, and of course, we raised it over the years. We were in the 50s, 60s, it started to drop a little bit. 16, we moved it up to 65, and we've stayed at $65 for residents since 2016. It was 68 people, then 17 is 53, 57 and 18, 53 and 19, and then COVID hit and it dropped. And we never really seemed to recover. Even in 21, there was 29 people, last year was 26, and currently we're at only 23. So I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, the pricing never changed. I think it's a reasonable price. And then the non-residents actually seem to have grown a little bit more. If you look back, compare before COVID, the 3 years before versus it is now. I've got my opinion, and I'll just keep that till the end and just let you guys talk and see what your thoughts are.
How does the board feel about keeping the rates the same or raising them?
That was one of the 26 for 2022 at $65. I could see raising it a few dollars, you know.
How about $70? Have a round number.
This is for you guys to talk about, yeah.
I would suggest 10, because that'll keep us above the line and not have to look at it in the next few years. And I still think $75 for residents would be reasonable.
You have a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion for $75.
Maybe second?
Second?
I'll second it.
Favor?
Aye.
So be it.
And that's where I was thinking 5, but 10's fair. We're 2 years out.
Yep.
I mean, inflation, we're in double-digit inflation, so that, my electrical cost and heating's gone up, so, and I think that's still fair. All right, so we have Roger and Wayne for 75 for resident, correct?
Correct.
All right, I just want to make sure I got it written down. All right, what do you want to do for non-residents? It's been 150 for the same time period.
Yes, I would suggest raising that 10 also then.
Okay, do we have a motion for 160?
Wayne, right? Yep, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we got 75 for resident and 160 for non-resident, correct? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair, so. It'll go to the council, they'll have to finally approve it, but that won't be till December, but I'll just give them the note that it was, park board recommended that. Thank you. No, I can just keep going here, John, if it's okay. A comp plan update, like I said, I've been out of touch for about 6 weeks with my father, so I'm not sure. Roger, was there any meetings in the last month? On the
No, I
comp
haven't
plan?
been to any, no.
Okay. I don't believe there was any either. I think
I
it's
don't
still
think
in a holding pattern to get the draft done and get something out, so I don't have anything to report on it. Park upgrades, the city council went out for bids to do a bunch of street projects this year. And part of that is, we had them tack on an alternate onto the big project. It's almost $2.7 million worth of road work we're gonna do this year. But I asked for an alternate to do trails, crack fill them and then seal coat them. And the number came in ungodly cheap, at just shy of $40,000. And so the council did approve that extra expense. So We have our pre-con meeting next week sometime, so I don't know when they're gonna start and when this gets done, but I'm hoping to get all of our trails, the big cracks, get grouted out, get filled, so they're not big divots, and actually put a seal coat on top of them, so, I'm very happy about that. I put that project with Zach, and he went off and ran with it, so, very pleased to hear that. Other than that, I really don't have anything else as far as park upgrades or anything with the park. The drought, we're still waiting to see how this unfolds. I would expect tomorrow is the next, every Thursday they put it out. We've been on the borderline of extreme drought. If you look at the map, you'd say, yep, Waite Park's in it, but then if you try to blow it up and you go, well, it looks like maybe it ends at Cooper Avenue. I mean, it's so hard. So I haven't heard from the DNR to tell me that we have to start cutting our water use. I've done it voluntarily. And I noticed that Willow Pond, they stopped watering. I think Willow Creek, you just said no. I haven't talked to Dale for the water plant, but he said that the numbers are coming down a little bit. So we'll just wait and see here. If I don't have to throw it on, I don't want to. I would rather not. If I can keep it and wait for the DNR to tell me, but we'll see what happens. Council gave me authority to go ahead and initiate a total ban if I needed to. The only thing that we're still watering within the city is at the ledge on the berm and a little bit around here, but that's it. We're still watering flowers, so basically we've got tree bags on all of our trees through the city, the young ones, and staff is running around. Got 2 people with water tanks on 2 trucks, and they're running around just filling bags and watering. So just trying to keep the trees going. If I put a total ban on, it would affect the splash pad a little, where last time I did it, we cut the hours 1 hour, started an hour later and quit it an hour earlier. So if I do go that way, that would happen, but I'm hoping not to. But if I do, I do. I mean, we'll have to see where it goes, so. And then lastly, what I have is a Babe Ruth update. And I've got a couple things that I want to bring to your attention and a little bit of guidance for you, because I'm going into budget. I have to have it done on Friday. So first thing is, the Babe Ruth came to me, and I believe we talked about this at one point. I don't even know if it's in the minutes. Not sure. About wanting to build a little concession building on Quick Trip Fields 1 and 2. Okay.
Was brought up before.
Okay. Well, thanks for helping remind me. So they have went together with a local contractor and got a plan together, the type of the building it would match, everything else that's down there, and got a cost estimate of what it would take to build it. And the number came in at just a shade over 104,000, almost 105. They've been raising money, and they sent me an email here over a month ago, which I just really got into last week, is they've raised about $40,000 for that project at this point. I know they want to do it this year yet, and they are asking for the city council to authorize about $65,000 to go against, to help them out to finish it. I checked with Carla today. Our Parkland Fund, as it sits to date, is at just a little over $214,000. That takes, it used to be closer to 400, but we spent a lot of money last year upgrading the buildings and doing some of that work. So I am on the schedule to talk to the council at the work session Monday night. I just want to bring it up to them. It's their choice at the end of the day, you know, what to do. I did go back through, last year at this time, we were doing park upgrades, so we were doing those buildings, the ball fields and all that stuff. There still was some unfinished business that was left that we didn't get done. We didn't have them authorized. So I would like to go through that with you, and what's left outstanding is The warming house roof needs to be done. And then the south pavilion over here where you guys do their plant sale here in Community Park, that roof is still out there. And you can see it on the sheet there. So the red numbers are what was a quote from 2000, or this year, to do the work. The blue number is 2023, and that number is, I just took 10% on the quote, just to get an idea of, for inflation. So I would like to see the standing seam done at River's Edge Park, because everything else is standing seam down there to match that. But community could probably be asphalt shingles, so. But still, at the end of the day, we're still looking at that $30,000, $35,000 just to do those two roofs. And then the last thing is the Boy Scout building does need new siding. And there was two quotes, one to do steel siding, just make it the same as what it is with steel siding, or we could do the Nova brick, which would make it look like the rest of the park buildings, that fake brick that we put on. So either way, those numbers are pretty negligible, probably about $8,000 more to do the Nova brick. And then we have to replace one of the overhead doors. No matter what, we're looking at that $100,000 to $115,000 to finish this off. So if the council wanted to do this, okay, so now that takes our parkland fund down to $100,000. If they wanted to help out the Boy Scouts, we're getting down there where there's hardly any money left. So I think that the maintenance on the facilities is more important than trying to add another building, and maybe pushing this off another year and seeing if they can't raise some more money, set it up for next year. That's just my thoughts. Again, I'd like to hear from you, your thoughts. I'm gonna have to go to the council. If nothing else, I go to the council and the Boy Scouts and they say the $65,000, I'll throw in the general fund budget and see if it holds up to all the way through. You know, it would come out of the general fund next year, not out of parkland. Those are all different ideas, so.
Maintenance isn't gonna get any cheaper. I mean, you can see it here. And maintenance seems to be more important to me than concessions. That's
Taking
because
care
the
of our
maintenance
building.
is something that affects all year round. You don't use it, but the maintenance, and if you don't take care of it, it's gonna get worse, not better.
I just wanted to bring it up for you guys so that you could.
I know the council will make the final decision, but, and when you were saying 65,000 and they've raised 40, that's not a loan, that would be a grant to them, 65.
What's that?
For the concession stand, you said they've raised about 40? So if they took 65 out of the fund, that would be a grant to them?
Yeah,
Would they, or would that be a loan that they
No,
would pay back?
grant.
Okay.
they're looking for a grant, yeah. Though we could propose it to do something a little bit different.
I would just, because
Or
the
we
way you
just-
were talking, they'd raised it, and I'm like, well, maybe they want to borrow the money.
No, they're looking for us to help them out with it, and, you know, it'd be our property at the end of it, you know, so it's ours. And waiting another year maybe isn't the worst thing. Yeah, the price will go up. Yep, understand that, but
But
if
it's
we
all,
had 400,000 sitting in the bank right now, then I would say that you guys would probably be with me and say, well, yeah, we could do both of them and we'd be okay, but we're not seeing any big development that's bringing our parkland fund up either, so.
it's already the 2nd of August. So I guess if you waited until the spring, might not make any difference anyway.
So your feelings are, take care of what
Take care of our
our maintenance issues first and then. Okay, all right. I can do that. I will pass that on to the council, so. No, I can't think of anything.
Any board members have any business matters? Okay. Our next,
4th.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
In favor?
Second, I second it.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.